And he used to get paid for doing this, doing a little TV work. We now welcome in Coach Darrin Horn to the show. Coach, talking about your time doing a little TV work, how did that affect your perspective of the game when you went back into coaching here with the University of Texas?
Well, for coaches, you get so locked in on tunnel vision, Lowell, of trying to help your team win or recruit or whatever it is, that you don't often take times to step back and say, hey, what do I like, what I don't like, and really learn, like almost like a sabbatical. So I had a 3-year sabbatical where I got to watch great coaches practice and play and prepare for games, including Shaka Smart, who was nice enough to let me come to VCU, and so it was a great learning experience for me.
What drew you to Coach Horn?
Well, we have a mutual friend in Denny Kuiper, who also happens to be on our staff now. And Coach Kuiper was working with our program at VCU on kind of a consulting basis. And he recommended just to get to know Darrin and for Darrin to be around our team some, come watch us practice. And Darrin did some really good kind of critique and evaluation of our team on offense and on defense. And it was great stuff. It was some stuff that was very, very helpful for us going into the next year. And so when this job came about and opened up, it was really a no-brainer to see if Darrin wanted to be part of the staff.
So, Coach, we're going to talk a lot about the job you've done, helping the development with the post players. But before we get into that, how about the job that Coach Smart has done and the direction you've seen him take this program?
Well, I mean, I think that's the key to the development of all these guys is that Shaka's committed to it. And he laid out very early on that specifically with the bigs, the group that I work with, that, hey, you're important to what we do. We're going to play through you. You've got a lot more in you, and this is going to be the best group of bigs in the Big 12 and maybe the country. And he's held true to that, and that's made it really easy for me to come in and do my job on a daily basis and working with them because you've got a head coach that's committed to their development, making them an integral part of what we do offensively, and really believing in what they're capable of.
And the post is a great example just of this development that we've seen through the course of this year. You look at the production of Cam Ridley and compare what he did before he went down with injury this season compared to the first 3 seasons on the 40 acres, and there is a significant development and difference there from Cam Ridley. First off, before we get into the clicker with Cam specifically, what was the vision when you first started working with Cam, what you were trying to get accomplished?
Well, our vision was Shaka's vision that we've got a guy that could be the best big man in college basketball if he learned to play with great energy and multiple efforts and became a guy that had a go-to kind of mentality and move on the block. And that's what we set out to do from day one. And again, I think a big part of that and understanding that in his development is the fact that Cam's belief and Shaka's belief in him was so important for him playing better.
Coach, you want to get the clickers fired up here with Cam Ridley?
Yeah, we got a couple clips of him. And, you know, I think with Cam, and Darrin just mentioned it, a lot of it is, you know, him playing with a level of confidence and belief in himself because everybody knows he's always been a guy with a lot of talent, a lot of ability. But let's face it, his career has been up and down. Mm-hmm. And what the first thing that we needed to do, and Darrin did a great job with this, is getting him to own his part of that. And he has been phenomenal with that. Unfortunately, he went down with the injury. But before that, you see here what we call multiple efforts, which is him getting on the glass, tapping the ball to himself, getting an offensive rebound, really outworking the opponent and going after it there. And that's something we work on every day with the bigs.
It really is. It's little fundamental things and helping them understand that multiple efforts with your athletic ability and talent can lead to really positive things. And I think, Coach, we've got to credit Daniel Roos, our strength coach, who did a phenomenal job with Cam this summer.
All energy.
Yeah.
Daniel
and
Roos.
you know, and Roos has done a great job with him actually since he's been hurt. Because
you see them on the bike together, and they're going head to head.
Come up with creative ways to get him to you know, maintain his conditioning. Here's another play where Cam actually gets on the floor when the ball's tipped away. I mean, you're talking about a guy at 6'10", 295 pounds, laying out, diving on the floor. And you see, as the play goes on, we'll run it forward here a little bit, he ends up getting rewarded. And, you know, Cam's a guy that when he goes and gets an offensive rebound, good things happen. And, you know, Eric puts up a shot here that, you know, highly contested. But when you got Cam in the game, you don't mind that so much because he's going to glass to go get it.
And we looked at these clips, effort, energy. That's a lot that you're pointing out. I hear coaches say from time to time you can't coach effort. What's your stance on that?
I think you absolutely can coach effort, and I think a big part of it, especially when it relates to bigs, is their relationship with the head coach. And do I think I'm important? Does he believe in me? And nobody does that better than Shaka, and it's one of the reasons we've seen great growth in these big guys.
So Cam goes down. A big part of the spotlight is put on Prince Ibeh. Let's get into his development. When that injury occurs, what's the conversation like with Prince Ibeh as far as what you're talking about?
By the way, our guys love to make fun of that picture right there.
That is one of the best, and we haven't changed it yet, so we like it as well.
It doesn't really look like Prince. But anyway, I've said it before, when you get an opportunity, you're either ready or you're not. And he was ready. And he's done a phenomenal job of taking on the challenge of now being our primary big, when before he's never been in that role earlier in his career at Texas. He's never been that guy that's depended on to hold down the middle, if you will. And now you see him going against one of the toughest, strongest guys in the country in Ricardo Gathers, making a big-time post move, and he's capable of that. One of the things that's pretty neat is that our guys are gaining more and more confidence in him on the offensive end. We see here what he's always been able to do on defense, and this is a special play here, Lowell, in that he throws the ball literally to the other end of the court, and then Kansas goes and tries again, and then he does it again. But again, it's exciting that he's emerging as an offensive player and creating more and more good plays on that end.
And Coach Horn, I know a big issue with Prince in the past, maybe being over-aggressive on some of those block attempts, getting into foul trouble. How have you tried to keep that aggressiveness while also trying to have him play smart and stay on the court, because you obviously need him?
Well, it became pretty clear when we did need him on the court when Cam went down that he's going to have to stop fouling. And again, that's all part of the development piece. People think that magically happens. It doesn't. Coach Smart comes in and says, hey, man, we need you on the floor. You got to stop fouling. Here's some things that you can do fundamentally that you can focus on to make sure you stay on the floor. And a big part of that is playing lower and getting what Coach calls your hips down so that he's using that athletic ability. And because of that, he stayed on the floor and been tremendous for us.
Let's move on to Connor Lammert now. Coach Horn, what was your biggest issue that you were trying, I don't want to say correct, but the biggest thing you were trying to develop with Connor Lammert in his game?
Well, I think it's right there on the screen, confidence. This is a guy that's capable of really good things and has shown flashes of it, but maybe didn't have the confidence to go out and do it. And, once again, playing for Shaka has been huge for Connor because he's given him that confidence that he can do it.
Well, yeah, I think there's another one on here before, but if you watch Connor here, he's a guy that is unlike anyone else on our team in that he's a threat around the basket. Here he gets an and one against Baylor's zone. And then he's a huge, huge threat away from the basket. And at 6'10", how many big shots has he hit this year?
This was huge against Baylor.
Yeah, this was huge. But what's exciting here is if you look at the shot clock, there's 5 seconds left. And we know that earlier in the year there was times where he was somewhat hesitant. And I think Darrin's done a great job every day in practice drilling the mentality in his head that, hey, we want you to be assertive. We want you to be aggressive. By the time he gets the ball, it's 3 seconds left. And he lets it fly. He could have one more to DeMarcus here, but he said, you know what? I'm ready. I got my feet under me. This is a shot the coaches want me to take, and I'm letting it fly. And you see the result there was huge for our team. Watch the bench here.
You love it. The reaction. Did you teach them that, Coach Horn? Is that you?
I did not work with our walk-ons and their celebrations. That's all their creation.
Although, I think it's important for us to point out, Ryan McClurg and Danny Newsom are also part of our bigs group that Coach Horn works with. So there's actually 6 of them. And it's a group. We asked them early on to look at themselves as a unit, as a group. And when Cam went down, that unit was minus a guy on the court, but he was still part of what we're doing. And I think those 6 guys have done a really good job every day working with Coach Horn and trying to follow what he asked them to do.
Let's get into the development of Shaquille Cleare. We saw him a lot in practice a year ago. After that transfer year, this was our first opportunity to see Shaquille Cleare actually on the court for Texas. What did you learn about Shaquille Cleare's game when you first arrived here at UT?
Shaq's actually got pretty good feel for the game and can do some things offensively. And really what we had to do is scale his game down and kind of simplify it. He's got a big body, great touch and hands, and so just get it on the block and be simple.
Yeah, with Shaq's a guy one-on-one, we really like that opportunity for him to play one-on-one offense against the other team.
Here he is against Gathers.
He's playing against the zone here, and our guys do a nice job finding him. One of the misperceptions is against zone as well, you can't really throw the ball inside. Our guys in this game did a nice job getting it into Shaq, getting it into Prince, and then they paid us off.
So, Coach, ultimately, it's about developing every time you go out in a game, in a practice. If you would sum it up as a group, what do you think is the next collective step for the Post players?
Well, I think just continued production and doing it night in and night out. And I think that's where people are so excited about Prince, is that he's doing it every night, and we've got to continue to do that on a consistent basis because, quite frankly, right now we need everybody to play well in this league to have a chance to win.
So TV or coaching?
Oh, coaching. It's not even close. And coaching here with Shaka Smart is one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
One other step that wouldn't be bad is getting number 55 back out there.
Ooh, little Mr. Miyagi doing some of this these days, a little Karate Kid action, anything that can help. Coach Horn, certainly doing that for this Texas team. We appreciate your time. We got more coming up on Game Plan. We'll look ahead to the next Big 12 matchup for Texas on the road in game number 2 against the Iowa State Cyclones.